Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Jim Dar's Tone Shifter channel, where we show you how to take any guitar and make it sound and play better. So join me in the Guitar Cabin, our musical sanctuary from day-to-day life, as we explore another really cool guitar project. I'm excited. Let's get to it. Well, welcome back to the Guitar Cabin and the continuing saga of restoring this Gibson Les Paul Special 55. You haven't seen my face for a while because we've mostly been doing still shots, but this is the guitar where it's at. Last time we left you, we were trying to figure out what was going on with the neck and trying to correct it by putting a slight back bow in. Here we are putting the back bow into the neck. We've used a steel tube that was heated with a hot air gun at a very, very low temperature. The back bow was created by placing a caul under the in the nut first fret area, and then using a C-clamp and a caul on the back of the neck to push that neck into a back bow position, with the idea of heating it up, letting it cool, so it'll stay in that position after it softens the glue and the glue rehardens. Well, that seemed to work. I also took the liberty of changing the frets out and putting new frets in. Have not leveled or crowned them yet because I'm going to wait for that until after we're done putting the finish on. The reason why I wanted to replace the frets, as you can see, there's literally no life left to them. They came out pretty cleanly with some typical tear out that you would expect, but nothing that extended beyond the tang. You can see the fingerboard cleaned up really nicely with a light sanding and leveling. I'm using my end nippers, as well as the new fret tang nipper, and it did a good job. The board cleaned up really nicely. It looks pretty good. Looks like rich rosewood. I have not oiled it yet. I will do that after I get the finish on. You can see the frets went in very nicely. The ends have been slightly rounded. They have not been leveled yet, but that'll be something for the near future. So let's kind of recap. Here's the back of the guitar. It was deeply divoted. You can see let me get my pointer. This is where the original body ended, and this is the extension of the cap, and we put some plugs going down deep here in this little white area, also much deeper here in this area. But overall, we've got a functional guitar. It's ready for sanding and staining, which I'm not going to show you a lot of, but I think it'll work out pretty well. I'll do a final fret level when I'm done and recrown and polish. You have to check my stock to see if I have any P90s that I've wound previously that'll fit in here that would be the right formula for this guitar. Also going to put the electronics in. I do have a reproduction pickguard for it that one of the shots of the earlier episodes showed. So I'm excited. So you're going to get a sneak peek of what this guitar sounds like acoustically if the mic can pick it up. Hasn't been heard in public in ages. It's a nice snappy sound. Don't know if you can hear that, but that's all we're going to do for now. To take a look at the fingerboard, the end of the white is where the initial fingerboard ended. This little dark spot here is the elevator plate I put on that was made of mahogany. This is some of the original varnish refinish that the person did years ago. My strip runs from here to here. The truss rod works, but it seems very tight, and I think it's just characteristic of the fact that we've got so many pieces of wood going on here. Overall, the depth is pretty good. Well, I can't measure it with the strings on, but I will measure that for you for next time and show you that. The neck joint that we had to modify because of the way it was sanded, I think works very well. The neck itself comes back to here, so we've got all of this area in here. I got the route outs for the control cavities. They're a little deeper than they need to be because I have to do some sanding, and it's not perfectly level, which is what I found out when I put the templates that I made for the switch and control cavity cover plates. Actually took a long time to make these to be accurate and try to get the angles correct. On the switch toggle cover for the original guitar, it was at a slight angle, so I tried to duplicate that as best I could from pictures. And the control cavity cover for the tone and volume pots and stuff is pretty standard, but I was able to make a template for that cover too, which I think is going to turn out pretty good. It's going to be a decent guitar. It'll be a great player. The fingerboard was really gunky, as you could see by those pictures, but it came up pretty well. I've got a couple of high frets here. This one is high, and I've got a high one or two down here. Keep in mind, this is a reproduction tailpiece set screw that can extend this and make the string either flatter or sharper. But this is what was on the guitar originally, not the same hardware, but similar style hardware. You can never get these things perfectly in tune, so it's a bit of a compromise. I think we'll be able to get the action low enough to be comfortably playable. And then there's still enough room here because we added this cap on, which is essentially all of this section right in here. Has enough room at the bridge to adjust it down so it can be a fairly low action player. I like a nice medium action. These are 1046s, and everything seems to be coming together really well. All I have to do is sand it. I don't want to touch the top, even though I could probably make it look a lot better. Also, this is taking much longer than I expected time-wise, so I do have to be cautious of that. But we're going to go with a light brown back like the original. This was the original color for the back. It's really more of a clear color with a slight tint to it, but I'm going to do it brown. We'll put some brown black paint on the edges to hide the seam, and we'll also put some brown black paint here and extend it. I'm going to extend it just to about here so you don't see that the end of this inlay that I put in. But the neck feels nice and smooth. So there we go. I don't know how many videos or pictures I'm going to take while I'm sanding it because it's fairly straightforward, but I will post a few and we'll see where we go from there. I'm probably going to keep, although I do have a set of original double ring tulip tuners for this, they're pretty bad. I mean, if I want this guitar to be playable, I think I'm going to put a newer set of Grover style, maybe some of the Korean brand Wilkinson, I think are pretty good, and they're at a decent price point, and I don't have to do any extra drilling. So with that, we're off to the stance. With that, we're off to the sanding, and sanding, and more sanding, and smoothing, and rounding, and more sanding, and grain raising, then more sanding, then stain, then pore filler, then wash coat. One thing I do want to mention, because of, I think this is varnish, I'm not quite sure. I don't want to necessarily sand all that off, but I'm going to try to get it all off. And I'll probably spray it first with a thin 2 coats of shellac. That'll prevent any of the aniline dyes that they were using back in the day from bleeding back out, even though I would mostly be concerned about it on the neck. But anyway, there we go. Till next time, please share, be kind, learn something new every day. Hit the like button, comment, I love your comments, and ring the bell. I would appreciate it very much. To all players out there, be safe. And remember, we make pickups. Bye.